morning, everyone. My name is Adhil, and after 1 year in treatment, I'm definitely an alcoholic. Um, I'm extremely nervous, but I realize what this program requires of me is I've got to carry a message to the newcomer, the miracle of my life that I'm 1 year clean. I remember coming to these rooms a year ago and looking at people and in awe of people who share their milestones, and I thought to myself, nah man, there's something dodgy here. It's impossible to stay clean because I've tried it. It's impossible. There's something's going on here that's not real. So I guess I was thinking this morning, and it's like I was praying, and it's like just reflecting over the year, and I'm truly clean for a year because I'm a dishonest person. It's like I'm trying to think maybe I messed up somewhere, or maybe I did something wrong, but I haven't. I'm 100% clean for a year, and that's amazing. So I guess the best thing I can do is just, I didn't prepare anything. I said, I'm going to allow God to speak through me, and if I miss out something, it's not meant to be said today. And all I have is my story. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I was born in Phoenix, not of Durban. Placed riddled with drugs and alcohol. And I used that as an excuse for a long time. A victim of circumstance. If you live there, you do drug and alcohol as well, But majority of the people in that place don't. So that excuse stopped working a long time ago. I realized this disease that I have is about behavior, and it's how I look at life. And from a kid, it's like I was very erratic, very dishonest. Thinking back, it's like resentment started very early for me as well. The best way I can, with toys, like I was addicted to toys, it's like, but for some reason, I was never happy what I had. It's like I always wanted something more, always wanted to know what made it work or what, it's like crazy stuff. It's like, what I should do was like, with electric, like battery operated things, I'd take it and I'd plug it into the wall socket to make it go faster. It's like, let's try and get this thing to go faster. It was always never content. I was never content as a child, it's like, and what had happened was, my folks just stopped buying me toys, it's like, nah, leave me an hour with a toy and I'll break it. I want to see how it works inside, and it's like, and what happened was I started getting me hand-me-downs from my brother, and it's like, and that was my first resentment. It's like, how dare they buy him new toys and like give me his hand-me-downs and give me Lego? What am I do with Lego? It's like blocks and stuff, but I want all the fancy things. And the resentment started there. It's like, I can remember that. I can still feel that feeling. I can still feel that resentment. It's like, as a child, it's like, and my childhood was very, very painful. I think under the age of 15, I've broken like almost every single bone in my body. I've got like over 400 stitches in my body. It's like I bled a lot as a kid, it's like hyperactive, and it's like, that was my childhood, and it's like, and some crazy, dangerous things, and it's always been like that. And it's like, I've got the scar on my face. It's like, my dad one day he finished cleaning his gun, and I remember whatever they told me not to do was the only thing I wanted to do. The only thing I wanted to do was what they told me not to do. And this one time he cleaned his gun and he hit it. He knew I was going to go for this thing, and I watched him, and I knew, and I took it. It was a German Luger, and I cocked it. I knew how to cock it, and I'm walking around the yard with this gun, and I shot it, and with the recoil, it cut my face open. I saw that the sky. Every day I look in the mirror, I remember myself that it was that gun. And I remember that fear and that horror in my mother's face, in her eyes, when she saw me bleeding in my face with that gunshot gone off. She thought I shot myself in the face. And I saw that same look in her eyes just before I came into recovery. Exact same look. And that's basically the type of person that I am. I started this nonsense from a very young age. Schooling for me was very easy because I've always had my elder brother that he was in the same school as me. So that arrogance and entitlement came from then. He's like, I would always mess around with kids, and always, I've got the backup. I've got my brother, and he's 4 years older than me, and his big friends were always there, and I was there like a little skivvy. They make me go do all their errands, and it's like, I got away with murder in school as well. It's like no one messed with me, and that was the type of person I enjoyed. That I loved that. I thrived on that. I love that affirmation. Like people says, don't mess with him. No, his brother's around and his friends around, and that kind of thing. And schooling was, I took the easy way out because I took the exact same things that he did, the exact same course that he did. So I did really well in school. It's like I kind of had a lot of potential, very intelligent, but I was extremely, extremely lazy. I just didn't put in the action. I just didn't want to do the work. I just wanted to play and jowl and be with chicks and women. That's all it was about. Life was just one big, playground for me, and it's like that's all good and well. It's like I was young, so it's supposed to feel like that. But the behavior was always very, very erratic, and always got up to mischief, always got into trouble. It's like that's the norm. Adhil always gets into trouble, and that's the way I lived my life. It's like in Standard 7 we had a sports day. While everyone's taking part in sports, we decided to drink. We decided to buy alcohol for the first time. Smirnoff and orange juice. That's it. Smirnoff and orange juice. Yeah, my first drink. Behind the change rooms, we started to, and 6-pack of Lion beer. They don't sell those anymore. So that was that, and we started to drink. I remember friends passing out, but I didn't. I had a tolerance to alcohol. I could talk, While everyone was sleeping and throwing up, I'd sleep and throw up, but I'd wake up and continue drinking till I just couldn't anymore, passed out. And what it did for me, it was made me invincible. I thought I was the strongest person on earth, and we got into a fight that day, with a rival school. I have no idea why we got into a fight, but I just know I got pummeled that day. Because I want to fight, but I just couldn't be able to fight. It's like, so that's alcohol for me, and I've never stopped drinking until a year ago. So it's like about 15 years old. It's like almost 25 years of active addiction. I've never stopped drinking alcohol since then. I'm 37 by the way, so 38. So it's just been alcohol my entire life. So school's over, so I passed quite well. Just decided to go to college. There were colleges in Phoenix, but I wanted to go to college in town so I could take public transport and, have a job, make it an adventure. What we should do was, on a Friday and Saturday was matinees in town where they had discos, like during the day for youngsters. I'd live in that place. I thrived on clubbing. That was a big thing for me, was going to clubs. So we'd go on a Friday and Saturday. I'd go on a Friday, go to Miss College, get pissed. The matinee opens like about 12 o'clock during the day. We'd go into the matinee, get pissed. So I'd pass out in the club, sleep under the table, wake up with a night job. That's what I do, so I don't have to pay the second entrance fee. So I'd pass out there, wake up at night, check everyone's coming, then I'll wake up and it continued for many years like that. I thought I fell in love lots of time, but I think I fell into lust more than anything else. I've always had problems having a girlfriend. I was always fearful of being let down. I don't know why I had that fear of they're gonna hurt me. And so what I'd do from a young age is like I'd get the most I could out of the relationship, and I'd end it before because I was convinced they're going to hurt me for some reason. And it continued for that for a long time. And I never kind of got close to, like, on a deeper level. I never did. It was just mainly physical and, superficial things like, and that's what it was about for women for me. Then I started to work. It's like I couldn't continue with my studies because I didn't know what I was studying. It's like I failed at that. And I got into work, started to work, and I was known to be like this party animal, always drinking. And it was fine, there's no consequences. And throughout all this, I met this girl. And she who never drank, didn't like alcohol. And I fell in love, And I stayed in this relationship with her for a long time, for about 10 years. I was the first person she's been with, and so it was like set in stone that we will have to get married. We get married, and we'd start our lives together. And we decided that we're going to go over to the UK, get a little digs there, and we'll live there, and we'll battle it through, and that's how we'll make some money and start our lives. And we started to save money. What had happened with that was, we got our visas and everything came through, and we said, okay, now it's time to leave. What I'd done was I'd spent all that money that I saved up. So at the airport, I told her, you go, and I'll come see you in a month's time, because I had to use the money it was a family emergency. And she believed me, because, she didn't know I was an addict. She believed me, and she went across. I've never seen her since then. I left her alone. The thing was, I tried so hard to save up that money. I tried so hard, desperate to save. I just couldn't save that money to get across. Couldn't. I took a loan. I used up the loan, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to. And she kept phoning, when you coming? When you coming? And I kept lying, and I destroyed this woman's life, And it's one of my greatest amends that I've got to do, I've got to make up for. I went to my first AA. My dad was alcoholic, by the way, but not an alcoholic like me, because he managed to buy us a nice house. He managed to put me to school, put me to college. He was a provider, yet he was an alcoholic. When he drank, he became absolutely lovable, it's like, so it was fine. And for me, I was always around alcohol. Everybody drank alcohol. And for me, alcohol was a manly thing to do. You're meant to handle your liquor. Real men handle their liquor. It's like, we don't say we can't drink. The more you drink, the more manly you are. That was my perception of it. You don't say I can't drink or I have a problem with alcohol. You don't do that. So, but what happened was, my dad was caught drinking at work, and he was told, you gotta stop drinking. So we started going to. He joined the fellowship of AA, and for my first meeting, I was about 10 years old. And I went with him. My dad had a stammer. He stutter a lot. So what we should do, we should pop past the bottle so there should be in. He'd buy a nip. He'd drink that nip, and then we'd go to every meeting, and then he'd like sing like a canary. It's like. And that was my thing about AA. It's like, and he always came home and says, "Nah, all they do there is just tell you how to drink like a normal person." And that's what was my perception of AA for a long time. It's like, this is old people with a candle in the middle of the table, and they just spoke about their problems, but they went home and they continued drinking. And but for me, it wasn't like that. For me, the more I drank, the more dangerous I became. Um, every time I drank a lot, and I got into a vehicle and I thought I was a Formula One driver. I made that vehicle a weapon every single time. I should drive absolutely like a moron. I really should. Thank God I didn't injure anyone or myself. 4 written-off vehicles, 1 stolen vehicle, but I came off was without a single scratch. Yet that wasn't enough for me to stop drinking. Work went really well. For some reason, I really, really was good at work because it kind of masked the other side of me. Because I lived this double life. A normal person, and there was like this vampire mode, that came out at night that no one knew about. And I think that was the kind of thing that kind of brought me to these rooms, brought me to Morocco. Anyways, I had to maintain this double life, no matter what, because no one could know the other side of me. And it just kept getting worse, it's like the drinking increased. So what happened was, on my 21st birthday, we went out clubbing, as we normally did. And my brother bought me my first club drug. And I took my first ecstasy tablet on that night. Immediately I was addicted to drugs. And I always told people, what, I'm a late bloomer. I only started using drugs and things at the age of 21. But I was born an addict. I was born with this disease. I know that now, just by the behavior. With the combination of drugs and alcohol, things spiraled out of control extremely, extremely fast. What I did was I set myself boundaries. So I said, I'll just do drugs and alcohol in the clubs, and I'll leave it there. When I come out at home, it's going to be all good and well. And that continued for a fine. That's why that's how it worked for a long time. This chick I was talking about, it's like, she said, you're not nice, time to get serious, this clubbing nonsense has got to stop. So I said, and for some reason when I was around her, I didn't have the urge to use. She became my obsession, my addiction. It was all about her. So I stopped clubbing. What I did was I brought the drugs and alcohol out of the clubs and I started using it at home. Under the radar kind of thing. And this continued for a long time. Yet I'm so dishonest, I'm so manipulative that no one knew because there weren't any consequences, It's like, and I had the mindset that I've got this good job, and, with all the bells and whistles, it's my right to spend the money any way I feel that I used to, I should. And that's what I did. And no one can tell me anything because I worked this hard to be who I am. And at this moment, at this time in my life, I didn't think about being an alcoholic. It was, I'm still young, and it's like, it's my right to party, because I work harder and party harder. That's the cliche, and that's what I did. And it continued like for a long time, and but this disease progressed in me. The mass kept building, and the defects, I started living on just defects for a long time. And it started controlling my life. I think so. One day I woke up, okay? It's 10 years later. All my friends are gone. They've got kids, they've got houses, they've got wives, they've got this amazing career. Yet Adhil is still in the same house, stuck in the same rut, doing the exact same thing, still using drugs, still alcohol, still going to party, still that same behavior, and nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened in that period of like 10 years. I was just stuck in that cycle of going to work, coming back, using, going to work, coming back, using, and but I couldn't see it, and this time just flew past. I don't know how, it just flew past, and I started to use every single day. For me, the substance abuse itself became overwhelming. I couldn't put enough drugs and alcohol in myself quick enough. I just couldn't. It's like I couldn't do it. It's like I just wanted it in me all the time, every minute of every day. My thing was, I'd, I'd go to bed and I'd wake up. The first thing I do when I wake up was my thing was I'd love getting pissed early morning. That was my thing. The feeling of getting drunk early morning and just wobbling through the whole day was my thing. I love that. I love that feeling, and and around my family, and they'll just look at me and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm just like laid out on the couch and I'm just drinking and drinking, but they left me. It's like, and the real pain came over the last couple of years when it came to a point where the consequences really started coming. I was coming from Underberg with the company vehicle from Bushman's Neck all the way down. Went to the bar and I bought a bottle of alcohol, and I'm driving down, and dirt road, so I'm just a rally driver with this bucky, and I'm like trying to corner as quick as possible, and there was loose rocks that fell onto the road, and I clipped the back of the bucky and it rolled down the mountain, and I passed out, and for about a day or so, it's like unconscious, and they found me using the tracker, so and they came and rescued me, and that's when I kind of admitted that I've got a problem. I had to admit I had a problem, or not so much admit I had a problem, but try and work my way out of this thing, so I could still keep my job, because the bottle of drink was there, and I had to make up. So in 2008, I went to my first treatment center in Durban, in Buria, for 28 days. I had to go there. I didn't have an option. I didn't want to go there. I had to go there. When I got there, we had groups where I met with psychiatrists and psychologists, and I was told that I've got a chemical imbalance in my body. That's why I do the things that I do, and that I need to go onto drugs, onto prescriptive medication, to mood stabilizers, just to level me off and keep me sane. So I stayed there for 28 days. I didn't want to use, I didn't want to drink. I think the consequences came, and I was like more scared than anything else. What happened was, on the 27th day of rehab, I got a call at this treatment center, and my dad had passed away. He died while I was in treatment. I was really ashamed of that. I was really, he never saw me. He never saw me sober. At this time I'm drinking with my dad. We should drink together, but also I should use drugs. And he could see, that my behavior wasn't okay. So he died while I was in treatment. So at his funeral, my family says, "No, there's it. This is why you've got to stay clean now. He was an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic. You got to do this for him. And you can lose everything, but you don't lose your name. I've got to keep that family name going strong. Got to keep that light burning," kind of thing. And I said, yes, this is all I need. His memory, keep his memory going. I need to stop drinking. So I stayed clean for about a year. It was the worst year of my life, because I just white-knuckled through it. All I wanted to do was get drunk. All I wanted to do was get drunk, and it was a miserable feeling, because I wanted to drink. I really, really did. All I wanted to do was drink, like to make the pain go away. And so him dying was not enough to keep me clean. So then I'm start getting scared. It's like, there's something up, you need to stop drinking, it's like, you need to get on with life. So I think, let me leave Phoenix, because this is the problem, there's drugs and alcohol everywhere. So if I leave this place, then I'll leave the drugs and alcohol ban. So I moved up to Johannesburg, a land of the free, opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity there. What happened within a year was, instead of being free, what had happened was, I'd finish work, I'd go into this adult world shop where they sell porn DVDs and stuff, and they have these viewing cubicles. So it's a chair like this, there's a screen here, little black room. My friend ran it. Within a year, that's how big my life became. That's where I felt the safest in my life, looking at shit on TV, on the screen there, and just getting pissed in the cubicle. It was that big. I remember it very clearly. That's how my life became. Where I went to Johannesburg to spread my wings, but instead that's not how big my life became. That's how trapped I was in my own mind, because Adhil came with me to Johannesburg. And I just couldn't do it anymore. By this time, everything that people have been telling me over the years about, you are going to die, you're an addict, you're going to lose everything, is slowly coming true. And I fought, in my arrogance. It's not that I thought they didn't, they're talking nonsense. It's I didn't believe it. I believed, honestly, one day, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to continue my life. That's what I honestly believed. I said, they're talking nonsense, I'll stop when I want to stop. And that's the process of me trying to stop drinking. The more I try to stop, the more I drank. I remember for me, was trying to go to bed. I'd pass out, and in the middle of the night, it's like someone's hit me with a hammer on my chest, and I jolt off the bed. That was one of the most horrific feelings I'd ever experienced. It scares me up to today, and it's like I'd be passed out, I'd be asleep, and I'd be awake, and I'd see these demonic images like in the corner of my eye, it's like in the corner of the room, and it haunted the fuck out of me for like many years. I just couldn't get rid of the things. Like these evil thoughts came over me. It's like thoughts of, I need to buy a gun, I need to stop robbing people. But I'm a chicken shit. I would do none of those things. I can't do those things. But I'm plotting in my head now. This is how I get money. This is how I need to live my life. The insanity just grew and grew in my head. And those nights, I remember, they were terrible, terrible things, And I barely slept. And so I went to another place, it's over the radio that it was an toxin treatment center where. So what they did, they gave me the saline solution, they flushed my system out to the point that I pissed myself, when I woke up. And then they pumped me with naloxone, and they gave me this a treatment of naloxone that messed me up even more. I went to a doctor, he put me on methadone, but I don't even take that drug that counters it, it's like, and that made me even more sick. I hate being down, I hate feeling that way. Anyway, the humiliation came, my rock bottom came when everything that I believed I could do or couldn't do, I was exposed for, I was exposed that I am this alcoholic and I'm incapable of living my life. So blah, blah, blah. Eventually what happened was, a friend of mine that came to this treatment center, he gave me Josh's number. He gave me Josh's number, and he says, this guy, I disassociated with him because his using became over. He's terrible. He's a worse than addict than me. He tried to commit suicide, blah, he ended up in hospital. He's mad. So I stayed away from him. Yet one day I saw him walking down the stairs to my house, and it's like, he looked completely different. He looked like a brand new person. He came through the treatment center. He gave me Josh's number, and it's like, I phoned Josh and he says like, I need help. I don't know what to do. I can't live. I can't die. I don't know what to do with my life. Josh says, okay, I can hear your voice, but you think about it. You phone me tomorrow, and if you still want to do this, you do this. So I phoned him the next day, and then we sorted out how much I got to pay. Didn't have enough money. He says, just come through. I came into treatment with the only way I knew how it would. I was extremely fearful, but so I put up this mask of the only way I had to protect myself. It's like I don't want to be exposed. And the first month of treatment was the hardest. It's like I came with my own over 25 years of active addiction and living in defects and living in this arrogance. Like that's the only way I knew how to live, and the only solution I knew. And I guess that treatment center up there saved my life. It was my higher power. It was where I saw that my behavior is not okay and I will die. It took many concern groups. For some reason, I have the ability not to fly under the radar. I can't do that. I just say how it is. I think that's a good thing because my concerns just kept growing for the 4 months that I was there. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse to a point that I just didn't want to speak anymore. I didn't know what to say, what was the right thing to say. But today I know it was my greatest gift. Concern groups were my biggest growth came from there. After 28 days in recovery, I came there with like 28 days, clean and sober, God lived my life. After 28 days, I just knew what was wrong with me and how sick I really was. I think at 37 coming to treatment, I had enough. The fun and games were over. It's like I had enough fun for 2 lifetimes. And the pain was just unbearable. I couldn't handle it anymore. Besides killing myself, I killed my family around me. I killed a spirit. And after 28 days, I asked to stay for the second month. I had this willingness. I saw something that was really attractive. Was this guy. I saw something, the way he lived his life. And one thing I found out about him is I couldn't bullshit him. I couldn't pull the wool over his ass because he knew it. He's done things that even I anyway. So I could relate, and he could relate to me as well. And it's like I felt safe there. I felt like I could be honest, and I kind of conditioned my mind to that. I came to this place looking for help. I couldn't help myself. I came here looking for help, and this is the help I need. This is the only way I can be, because I'm thick-headed. It's like I need pain. I need to be humiliated. I need to be, put on the spot. Then only it sinks in for me. So I stayed the second month, and as I'm doing my steps, like step 1, nothing. Step 2, nothing. Step 3, nothing. I can't feel anything happening. So I told him, I'm not feeling this. I don't think this program is working for me. And he says, haven't you realized that you're still clean and sober? You haven't brought tears to your mother, you haven't stolen anything, you haven't run. So something's happening. Just stick around and you're going to see the magic. You're going to see it happening. And that's what I did. I asked to stay there for the 3rd month. It's like, but it's all good and easy that my family is paying for treatment. If you want to stay, you got to pay for your own treatment. And I made the decision to sell my car. Extremely hard. I loved my car. But I wanted to live even more. So I had to sell my car. I sold it for my 3rd and 4th month. After my 3rd month of treatment, I asked to stay for the 4th month by myself. I said, no, I need to stay 1 more month. It took me 3.5 months to finish my 12 steps. But I felt a change in me. I felt open-minded. I felt, this is the solution. I was blind before, and now I'm able to see, and I can't unsee these things now. I can see it working. I'm clean and sober for the longest I've ever been. My worst concern group came on the day of my leaving group. Yes. And I'm like, you're concerning me today. I'm leaving in an hour. What the fuck do you want me to do with this? And he said, just calm down. You need to relax. He's just like, chill. And what happened, I asked to move into the halfway house, but unfortunately there was no place. So I had to go home. And after my leaving group, Caleb says to me, you know what? Someone's relapsed at the halfway house and they're gone, and your place is there. Boom. And I came into the halfway house, and I moved into this town of Scottsboro that welcomed me with open arms. This fellowship had welcomed me with open arms. They didn't judge me. My brothers at the halfway house, it's because of them, the guys that are here today and the guys that have been there before. It's because of them that I'm sitting here today. But you know, from everything that I've said from the get-go up till today, I didn't do this. He didn't do this. None of us. It's the God of my understanding that's done this. He came into my life because I started to get down on my knees every morning. I faked it, you know. I didn't know how to pray. I never had a conscious contact with my higher power because I just didn't know how to get to Him. I just didn't know how to get this connection with God. I knew He's always been there, you know. Now that I know, there's always been a divine intervention in my life from the get-go, because the mere fact that I'm sitting here and telling you my life story shows that there's been this golden thread or this divine intervention. This book, Bob Wilson, Dr. Bob, you know, Bill Wilson and Dr. These guys, you know, and how they work their lives into this golden thread. This man tells the story very nicely. It's like how they work that life into. For me, sitting here, it's amazing. It's only God can do this. I call Him God, you know. I started to pray. I got on my knees and I started to pray for the first time. And it's been working, although I don't see it, but it really is working, you know. It's like, and how it works to people. It's worked to my family that have never forsaken me, has always loved me. It's worked through concern group. It's worked through me getting in a mess and coming out of it. It's God's work in my mind through the cops that's been arresting me all along, and you know, that's how God works has been working in my life. Because I couldn't do this on it. I didn't do this. All I did was give up. All I did was, I can't do this. Please, someone help me. And my higher power was the house on the hill. My higher power was Caleb. It was Dawn. It was the people. It was Keith. It was those people who knew better, who's gone before me and kind of paved this road of recovery for me. And all I did was listen to suggestions. For 6 months clean, I had this. God gave me this amazing opportunity to become a businessman. Right? So He says, you know what, you clean and sober now, so I'm going to give you this business and you're going to become a millionaire. Yes. No, that's what's going to happen. And the first thing He told me was, don't do this. That, oh, you're getting involved with this, so dodgy. I said, no, man, come. He gave me the business plan, it's all the workout. True as not, this all hit us down for all my laptops, took the money and it's gone. And he says, I told you. And he's like, yeah. And I learned my lesson, you know. I've got to put in the action. I've got to follow suggestions. I've got to follow, and that's what I've done. And for me, recovery this year for me has been absolutely amazing. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not putting enough action because I don't get in a mess anymore. It's like, life's just amazing, you know. Everything's good. This town's welcomed me with open arms. The friends that I've made, relationships that I've made, you know. Even female friends, like for me before, who were just there for, you know, one reason. I've made true friends, and it's like amazing. Life's been really good. The life of my family it's amazing how good. I got clean. I took my last drink on my mom's 70th birthday, on the 2nd of July, and on the 2nd of July this year, she celebrated her 70th birthday, and it was my year clean as well. We hired a restaurant, and it was absolutely amazing. I was the MC. I spoke. You know, we had an open bar. It was at a casino, and I had absolutely no use, no urge, no obsession to use or drink. All I saw was the twilight zone of drunk people around me and how much of a moron I should be. And I started the prayer, I started off the function with the strange prayer. And it's amazing how many people know that prayer. You know, it's like, and I carried a message of hope and that I can do this. And I'm doing it, you know, it's like, it's a miracle that I'm sitting here today. And it's all through me giving up control of my life, and handing it to something bigger than myself, or just handing it to, putting it out there for asking for help, and being humbled by my life experiences that I can't do this alone. I can never ever do this alone. And it's to people. It's to that big book. It's the first book I've read since I left school. To be honest, I didn't read the entire book, but I have read the first 164 pages. Read your next 5 pages. Read the next 5 pages, kind of so, you know. So I read the next 5 pages many times, and it sunk in. It's an amazing book. It helped me. Caleb's helped me. He gave me enough rope to hang myself, to see if I hang myself, but I didn't. The pain was enough, and I respect what he's done. I respect him, and I'm just really, really thankful that I found this place. You know, in Phoenix, people are suffering with this. These people are dying with this, and they don't have this opportunity that I've had, and I'm just so thankful. What I need to find out is there's 2 most important things. It was the day I was born and the purpose of my life. And I think the purpose of my life is to carry this message that once I was lost, but now I'm found. And the only way I was found was through this program. I just want to thank Caleb for always being by my side. The house on the hill that saved my life. My brothers at the halfway house, the guys that are here today, the guys that have left. And I'm just really thankful for being able to sit here and carry a message, and the message that I couldn't do this, but God did, and it works if you work it. So thanks for letting me share.